The death toll from heavy monsoon floods and landslides in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir continues to rise rapidly. More than 300 people are confirmed dead and many remain missing as rescue efforts continue. Weather forecasters warn of more heavy rain to come.
Here in the mountains of northwestern Pakistan, floodwaters and landslides smashed through entire villages. Torrential rain created walls of water, pushing huge boulders onto communities below.
A cloudburst triggered a flash flood right here, sending water surging through the village. As a result, between 70% and 80% of the village has been destroyed. Even if not completely wiped out, every single house has suffered damage.
Many are reeling from the scale of the devastation in parts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province, where the floods came so quickly, many could not get out of their homes or make it to safety.
There's been massive loss of life, with many still buried under rubble. The destruction is immense, and I think we've seen the highest number of casualties in Buna's history. Over 200 lost so far, but we're still rescuing.
The death toll is still rising as rescues turn to recovery missions. Amid funeral services, the risk of further devastation remains. Officials are warning of further rains over the coming days. Pakistan has received higher than normal monsoon rainfall this year, which scientists link to climate change. It is highly vulnerable to the effects of climate change, despite contributing less than 1% of the world's greenhouse gas emissions.
Let's get more on this from DW's Bureau Chief in Delhi, Sandra Petersmann. Sandra, can you bring us up to speed on the latest rescue and recovery efforts?
It is, of course, an extremely difficult task, Tommy. If you look at the region, like the report said, entire villages have really been wiped off the map. And the worst affected regions are very mountainous terrain with continued bad weather. So it's very hard to bring in the equipment, the heavy equipment needed for the rescue operations. There's very poor road connectivity, and the few roads there are either washed away or blocked by huge boulders and debris. There's also very poor medical infrastructure, and what makes matters worse, of course, is the new issuing of red alerts for much of north and northwest Pakistan. The Pakistani Met Office has warned of new flash floods, of new mudslides for that region, which of course is further hampering the relief operations underway in that region, Tommy.
And it's not just Pakistan that's been affected, neighbouring countries as well. Can you give us a picture of the situation across the border?
If we look at India here and also at neighboring Nepal, for instance, we do see similar pictures of heavy rainfalls, of flash floods, of cloudbursts coming with huge debris, wiping out villages. The most recent example here on the Indian side, in the Indian-administered part of divided Kashmir, is a small village, Chositi, which lies at a famous pilgrimage route leading up to a shrine. And many pilgrims here were caught by this freak weather event on Friday and just washed away. Dozens here are also still missing. And what we have to keep in mind, perhaps, Tommy, is that the monsoon season between June and September has always been a blessing, but also a curse. It carries 3/4 of the rainfall, annual rainfall here in South Asia. It always came with floods, with flood warnings and with mudslides. But what we see now is that extreme weather events, freak weather events, are rather becoming the norm than the exception. And experts here, like in other mountainous parts of the world, like in the European Alps, attribute this to the effects of climate change, with changing rain patterns, changing wind patterns, changing humidity. And looking at the Himalayas, of course, much of it is also further man-made. We see a lot of development in this very ecologically sensitive region for infrastructure, for a rising population with needs. And that comes, of course, with deforestation, which is adding to the situation here.
And as you say, we're in the middle of the monsoon season, and more rain is being forecast over the coming days. So what support is there for the vulnerable communities?
I think we have to divide this with short-term and long-term. Short-term, of course, it comes with the evacuation of threatened population out of the worst affected areas or of areas that might see heavy rainfall in the next coming days. It means that they have to seek shelter maybe in schools or in madrasas, in churches, whatever is available as community centers, to give them shelter, to give them medication, to give them food. Probably also bringing in the army in a more larger scale to assist with rescue operations, with clearing operations in the affected areas. But then we also need to look at a long-term strategy of adaptation in changing climates. And for the Himalayas, that would probably mean a more advanced early warning system, transnational, even between countries like India and Pakistan, who were at the brink of war just in May. It would need early monitoring, continuous early monitoring of weather patterns, of water patterns, and then sharing all that data at a very early stage to help assist with preparedness and with disaster management later on, because zero risk, I think that is not possible in an ecologically sensitive region as the Himalayas, Tommy.
Okay. Sandra Petersmann in Delhi, thank you very much for your time.